Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's Gavin from Balls to You, and what I'm going to try and do in this segment, this is part of the breeding or how to breed ball python segment, is show you a few different females at different various stages. Now, what we're looking at here is this female is the Pastel Head Ultramel, and she at this stage she's been not been bred. She's basically obviously she's laid the eggs. We've had the clutch. And at this stage she's a feeding machine. Now normally they turn into a feeding machine when they are being bred and they need to put more fat storage on. This girl, however, is constantly, as you can see, at the forefront of her hide waiting for food. She's always waiting for food, so that's a good sign that we're going to continue to go on into the new season, into the new breeding season, with a good healthy female ready to be bred again in the next coming season, because there's a lot of talk that some females will not breed back to back. Well, to be honest with you guys, it is partly true, but it also, a lot of it is down to your animal, regarding, you can take a snake, you can take a horse to water, let's say, you can't make it drink. It's very similar. If your female doesn't bounce back from her last clutch very well, then obviously it's going to take a bit of time for her to get back into the swing of things. So again, this female, it's a good sign. She's not been bred yet. She's just gave me a clutch of eggs, but she's feeding like a boa. So that's one female. So we're going to look at a few more in different stages. Okay, here we have a Spotnose female. She is also a feeding machine, but she's been bred. Now, she has probably put on 1,000 grams within 3 months, and that's no exaggeration, guys. She absolutely is a dustbin. She's been bred to a leopard, and again, as you can see, I'm in no rush to clean the tubs, simply because, as I've said before, they thrive from their own smell. So the minute you take that away, they become they become more nervous and a lot less likely to feed or breed for you. So don't be in a rush to clean them. However, it is cleaning day tomorrow, so we will clean them out tomorrow. But what I'm trying to get across to you guys is different animals need different requirements. Don't always be so quick to clean your animals out. It may look like a mess for us, but for them it's how they like it, it's what they've made it, and that's what they like. And she's coming to say hello. Hello, sweetheart. This one is quite a nervous snake, but she's also very inquisitive, as you can see. I love this girl. I love the Spotnose stuff. Got some big plans for it here in the future, just starting from the base gene and working our ways up. Hello, darling. So it's nice for her to come and say hello. So she's actually pushing close to 2.5 kilos. So she's doing really well, really healthy, good feeding response. Hello, sweetheart. And just an overall pleasure to work with. So there's another girl. She's been bred and she's turned into she was a boa anyway, the way she fed, but she's even more ravenous now, and she will take anything that she gets offered, which is really good. So again, this is a girl that's been bred, so we'll move on to another female now. She loves the camera. So we'll move on to another female now, and we'll look at her stage, and we'll look at the next female in the next stage. Okay, here's another girl. She's also been bred and she's a bit picky with her food. She has put on some decent size. This is what I'm calling or the Black Phantom. She's a phantom. I don't know if there's something else going on, but as you can see, she is dark. Considering some of the phantoms that I've seen, she's quite reduced in pattern, and she's very, she's very black. So whether Ralph accidentally left a blackhead in there for me, I don't know, but obviously we'll breed her. This will be a first time breeding, so we'll see what we got going on. But again, this girl, as you can see, she's more in the middle of a tub rather than at the back. So she's finding where she's happy in her tub the most. Again, different stage. She is a bit more picky with her food now. She has put the weight on that she needs to put on to develop her follicles, but as you can see, this girl is a lot more pickier than the Spotnose that I showed you. But that's because I feel this girl knows that she's got to where she needs to be for her fat follicles, for her fat cells for the follicles. So it's almost like now she's slowing down and she's concentrating on cooling herself down. As you can see, she's more towards the middle than she's towards the back. Okay, so she knows where she needs to be. So that's another way of judging your females, where they are in the tub. Are they spending all the time in the hot end, or in the middle, or in the cool end? That's going to give you a lot of indication into what's going on with your females in this breeding process. Okay, so paying attention to where your females are lying more so, and how they're feeding will give you a good indication onto what's going on with a female. So let's look at a few more, Okay, this is my Jazz Pastel. This is Jasmine, and the reason why I call her my Jazz Pastel is because of her name, Jasmine. She's thrown some real unusual pastel babies, which I've kept one of the sons back, and we're going to grow up and see what's going on. But as you can appreciate, as you can see, she's very unusual. I've proved her not to be a super pastel. She's definitely not a firefly, but as you can see, she's bright and very heavily blushed out for any sort of type of normal pastel. So we'll see what's going on with her. Her stage is at the minute, if I can keep her in shot, her stage at the minute is she was feeding very heavily. She's a bit more advanced. She has gone into the stage where now she's gone off food, and as you can see, she's really nice and solid around this area, the lower half, if you like. There's a lot of junk in her trunk, bless her. And again, she seems to be at that sort of the glowing stage, what's known as the glow before they go. She's not fully at the glow stage, because I have seen her and she is neon yellow when she glows. She's phenomenal. But she's starting to colour up again nicely. After she laid, she went quite dull, which they do, but she's starting to get her colour back again. So there's another stage. Now this female, as of the female you saw, the Black Phantom, she was picky, she was on and off food. This female is completely off food now, and again, she's not losing no weight. She's certainly building, what we call building. So she's got some nice thick junk in her trunk, bless her. And again, she's absolutely awesome, and again, can't wait to see what we produce from her. So that's another stage. Again, I'm trying to go through and find them at the best stages for you. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at is a female that's glowing. Okay, I'm going to try and do this one without being tagged. She's a little grumpy girl, but she's all good. She, believe it or not, I know the camera's not picking it up, but she, in person, she's like a hypo. She's actually what we say the glow before you go. She's got plenty of junk in her trunk. She's got this sort of a bit of a, it's hard to sort of pick it up on camera, but she's got this sort of glow on her head, almost like a hypo. She's obviously a cinnamon, and she's normally a lot darker than what you're seeing now. The camera's not really doing much justice, but trust me guys, she is starting to go into that glow stage now, which obviously after that then we shall start to see some type of ovulation, and then a shed, and then we should have a clutch of eggs. But she's starting to glow, she's colouring up, or she's going into this sort of hypo sort of looking look to her, especially on her head. She's normally a lot darker than this, but this is another stage. Again, this female's a bit off of food. She does eat, but she eats because she's greedy, but it's nothing to do with her breeding or feeding. So another one that's curious to the camera, bless her. Okay, come on, go down. So again, this female, believe it or not guys, is actually starting to get very hypo looking. So we'll look at another female in the next stage, and we'll go from there. So again, look at the junk in the trunk. I know I keep using that guys, but it's probably the best way to describe it. They really do get a lot meatier in the lower half of the body, and that's when you know that it's all good. They're building up enough enough fat cells for the follicles, and again, they're coming on thick and fast. So that's what you're looking for. Okay, this is another stage. This is the stage after the glow. Obviously, they ovulate and then they shed out. Now, this girl has ovulated and she has shed it out. Now, what's difficult to tell, obviously she's a Enchi lesser. What's difficult to tell is this female, even though she looks big around the bottom end, she was a lot bigger. When they are about to lay, I mean, this girl should be laying towards the end of January now. When they are about to lay, it's almost like they sort of go thinner. It's like they go from this being a lot of junk in the trunk to being sort of almost like they're not going to lay. And this does throw people off because they think, oh, my female's not going to go. A month or 2 months later, they've got a clutch of eggs and they're astonished because they're really convinced that their female's not going to go. And this girl here, she has done a pre-lay shed. She's ovulated, obviously, and she's starting to thin out down in the base end here. Bit difficult to see, but I can tell you she's starting to thin out. Okay, so now we're going to go to the next stage where a female is about to lay, and we'll have a look at her. Okay, here is a pastel head clown. As you can see, she was due to lay around about Christmas Day. We are probably this is the 20. What are we on? It's the 28th of December. So she was due to lay on Christmas Eve. So she's obviously a few days earlier. Now again, guys, females can lay 21 days to 41 days, anywhere between that sort of range. What we see on average is around about 30 days. So I always mark up the 30-day period and then check her every day there on after. This girl again, she's very narrow towards the back end. Okay, and again she has this slight kink in her tail here, which when I do check them and I pick them up and I have a look at them every day after, you can actually see that the eggs are virtually there. Yeah, all we're waiting on is that contraction for her to push the eggs out. So that's what we're looking at. That's the next stage. And also, if you look, the coil, the tail is on the outside. Pretty much when she's about to lay, that tail end will be in the middle, because obviously she's going to lay from the tail and she's going to constrict the eggs or coil around the eggs and keep them nice and warm and safe. So we're looking for that tail to be in the middle, which is a good sign. At the minute she's not close to laying, so I reckon she's got a few more days before she lays. But again, we're looking at that tail. More indications, we're looking at the tail being slightly kinked. Again, we're looking for the bulge, which I can't really show you at the minute. The bulge underneath, you can see the eggs are virtually there. We're just looking for the constriction where, or sorry, not the constriction, what do you call it? The contraction, that's it. We're looking for a contraction, and when she starts to contract, she'll put the tail into the middle, and that's when obviously she's going to lay the eggs from the inside, and she'll move the tail then to the outside once she's finished. Okay, guys, so I hope this has given you a bit of insight into some of the females in some of the development stages, and what to look for. It is not so much a guessing game, guys, but you've got to know your animals. I keep saying this. You've got to know what you're looking at. You've got to know how that female or male normally acts as opposed to what they're acting like now. And then you can work out, well, okay, is this a strange behaviour or is this normal behaviour? That sort of thing. But you've got to know your animals. Okay, guys? Hope this helps. Like I said, it's just another segment in the breeding process. I will do other females in a bit more depth closer to the time. But again, I just wanted to run through a few stages of what to look out for as and when you're breeding your females. Okay, everyone, hope you're all okay, and I hope you've all had a great Christmas, and I hope you're all going to have an even better New Year. Okay, everyone, take care, and I'll speak to you guys soon.